Hello everyone, my name is Mr. B, and if you're watching this video, then congratulations, you're in Psychology 203, also known as Adolescent Psychology. So the purpose of this video is not only to introduce myself as your instructor, but also to talk a little bit about the expectations for the class, how it's set up, in case you missed the first day of class or you're choosing to take the class remotely. So let's get started. So a little bit about me first. So my name is Alex Bohaska, but I tend to go by Mr. B, because I mispronounce my own name. I'm an adjunct instructor here at UMES. I also went to UMES to get my master's degree in special education. In addition to that, I also have a master's degree in psychology. And then, in addition to being an instructor here at UMES, I am also a teacher at Pocomoke High School in Pocomoke. And you will also see some pictures of my cats. The white one is Skylar, the black and white one is Lucy, Fur, and then my latest one, who is an all-black cat, is Jake. So essentially, I don't even know why I keep the fax number up here. I don't think any of you fax. Because I'm an adjunct and because of the current circumstances that we're in, the best way to reach me is through email. I try to check it as often as I can. Once school starts up, I might not be able to check it as often, but I usually will keep my email up while I'm working. I'll check it on my phone. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please email me at abohaska@umes.edu. I don't have an office or phone number, because again, I'm an adjunct. And also, I'm trying to do my best to work remotely as much as I can because COVID. So the syllabus, you will see, and I will show you guys in just a little bit, that the syllabus is available on Blackboard. So it is your responsibility to check the syllabus, to understand it, to know all of the expectations on the syllabus. You can't say, after the fact, oh, well, I didn't know that there were assignments, because it is laid out right there on the syllabus. And in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to very, very quickly look at where that syllabus is. So where you can find it, ooh, that's the wrong one. Hello, it's me. So if we go on the website, yep, it should look like this. If you go on Blackboard for our class, to find the syllabus, you just go to where it says begin here. And then getting started, it says a little bit about me, yada, yada, yada. And then if we scroll down, you will see where it says course syllabus and schedule. So if we click on that, again, you will have my email address. So in case, there we go. In case you forget where my email is, you can use the email button over here. But also my email is listed up here as well. There's the book, which we're going to talk about. And then this is the syllabus. So it kind of just says what this class is, what adolescent psychology is, what we're going to be learning about, and then the course requirements. So I'm going to talk about it in a little bit more detail, but essentially there are 3 exams, and then there is a quiz after each chapter, and then there's a few kind of random assignments that help to reinforce the material that we're covering. And then there's kind of a brief schedule that just shows kind of what we're doing for each chapter. And then at the very bottom, you will see the class schedule. So I'm going to very, very quickly bring up the class schedule, just so you know. When you click on it, it should look like this. And it'll show what week we're going over what chapter. And generally speaking, each chapter takes about a week. There's an exception to, as you'll see, there's one time where we go over chapter kind of 4 and chapter 5, so there's kind of 2 weeks for that, even though it's kind of considered one thing and you have one quiz for it. And then because it's the first week and we're getting into the swing of things, I always take 2 weeks to go over the first chapter. What you will also see is, after reading each chapter, after we go over that chapter, there is always going to be a chapter quiz that is due by that Sunday. And then the majority of the time, but not always, but almost every time, there'll be some sort of an activity, and the activity usually involves watching a video and giving a response, which I'll talk in more detail very shortly. After every 3 chapters, so chapter 1, chapter 3, and then kind of a combination of chapter 4 and 5, you will then have an exam. It's open book. You will be allowed to use your notes. It becomes available on that Thursday, and then it's available until Sunday, but once you start it, you'll have 120 minutes. I'm going to go in more detail when we get to that slide. You have another 3 chapters with some assignments, then you have the other exam, another 3 assignments, 3rd exam, and then you'll see here it says final exam, but essentially exam 3 counts as our final exam. Each exam is non-cumulative, so it means it's only going over the 3 chapters that we've gone over for that time. So that's just where you can find the syllabus on Blackboard. So you can't say that you don't know, that you missed assignments. This is the book. Let me make sure that it's all in view. There we go. I can bring myself back very quickly. So the book that it shows on there is the 5th edition. The one that I teach from is actually the 6th edition, but the 5th edition is fine. I believe on Amazon it's maybe $20-30. I think the 6th edition is a little bit more. So get the one that's best for you, and use that one. The 5th edition's fine. Save a little money there. But the one that I'm going to be teaching from is the 6th edition. And what I always say about the book is a wonderful reference for reinforcing material. But I will say that all of the material that will be covered on the exams, on the quizzes, on everything, I will make sure to cover in my lectures. But that's the book. Get it on Amazon, rent it, save some money. And I kind of already went over the syllabus a little bit. But essentially, I mean, it's the same as any syllabus for any of your classes. Be respectful, follow the UMES policies. You can read the whole syllabus at your time, but it's the same kind of copy of the syllabus that you get for all of your classes. Alright, so assigned readings. For each chapter, as I've mentioned, and I'm going to make myself disappear now. For each chapter, you're expected to have read it before the lectures, so it's kind of in your mind and we can discuss it. The whole point of this class is to be discussion-based, where we're talking about adolescent psychology, all the things that play into adolescence, and why it's such a kind of crazy and unique age range for a lot of individuals. So there's a lot of opportunities to talk about it. So the expectation is that you have read that chapter before that week. And then we go over it in more detail. So each Friday, there will be a 10-point quiz that then covers that chapter. And you will always have 2 attempts. So you can take the quiz once. You'll get to see, if you got a question right or wrong. And then you can go back and take it a second time. And it becomes available on Friday. In fact, I think I made it so it becomes available on that Thursday in case you want to take the quiz as soon as you're done with class. But it's due by midnight or 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, because I do understand that sometimes you're busy during the week, you get your work done over the weekend, so it becomes available on Thursday, but due by that Sunday. Cool. And essentially for tests and exams, all this is saying is that anything that's covered in class, anything that's covered on the exams, on the quizzes, anything that's in the reading could potentially be on the exam. I will say this is kind of a nice little hint. A lot of the questions that you see on the quizzes, you will see again, because they show up on the exam. There will also be 7 special assignments. And essentially, as I mentioned, they're just videos, and you watch the video, and then there's maybe 2 or 3 questions relating to the video. You answer those questions, submit your response. You can write it in a Microsoft Word. You can write it right there in Blackboard, and then it gets graded. One thing that should be paid close attention to is you must always support your answer with evidence from the text. So the special assignments always relate to what we were talking about in class that week. So you have to relate it to something that was talked about in class, because then that lets me know that you understand that connection. If there is no evidence from the text, you're going to miss points on these assignments. And I know that one of them is worth a whopping 40 points, so it can really hurt your grade. So they're not meant to be difficult. Again, they're short little videos. You answer a few questions. Just make sure that you support the answer. And then the exams. As I mentioned, there's 3 of them. They're non-comprehensive, so that just means that it's only on the 3 chapters that we've covered. It's always going to be 50 questions, multiple choice, and it's 2 points for each question, so 100 points. On here it does say that the exam will occur on Thursdays. What I do is it becomes available on Thursday, but just like the quizzes, just like the assignments, it is due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Because again, I do understand that weekdays can be busy. But once you start the exam, you will only have 2 hours to finish it. So you can't just, go answer a few questions, go have lunch, come back the next day, do more. Once you have decided to take the exam, you have 2 hours from when you start it. And there are some options for taking the exam. You could take it on your own computer at your own time, again, from that Thursday to that Sunday. If you choose to take it during class time, it would be on that Thursday. We always do a review the Tuesday before, and then the exam is on that Thursday. So if you want to come in and use the computer lab that's in Hazel Hall, we could do that. Or just bring your computer, sit in class. What's nice about that is that I will be there, and I can answer any questions, clarify any questions you might have for the exam, if you choose to do that. And then the very last option is you can do a paper and pencil version. So this is more if you're worried that 2 hours isn't enough. If you are an ESL student, or you find that you just need extra time, then you would do the paper and pencil version, which would also take place on Thursday. All right, if you're going to miss the exam, let me know ahead of time so we can, if I can make it available to you earlier. This is going to come up a lot, but essentially just be in communication with me. I understand, especially this year, a lot is going on. Just keep me in the loop. You don't have to tell me your whole personal story, but, quickly email, hey, Mr. B, something came up. I can't, do the exam. Can you open it earlier for me? I can work with you if you let me know. This is the grade breakdown. So as you'll see, the majority of the class, the grade is determined by the exams, because there's 3 of them, 100 points each. 300 points. The assignments and then the discussion is 155, so 28%. And then those chapter quizzes make up about 17%. And the chapter quizzes and assignments might not sound like much, but keep in mind that if you do not do them, the best grade you can get in the class, if you ace all the exams, is just a 55. So those points do add up. Classroom attendance, again, this one's a little interesting this year because some of you may be electing to take this class remotely. I've already talked with one student that, due to circumstances relating to COVID, they don't feel safe coming back to the campus, which I completely understand. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be having videos of all of my lectures, which will be available, and I'll show you shortly on Blackboard, for you to watch. I will say that they probably won't be as entertaining. They will probably be rather boring and dry because I'll be recording them ahead of time. And then you can't ask questions. We can't engage in that discussion. So while there is the option to take this class remotely, you won't get as much out of it, I believe, than if you came in person. But that being said, I understand that given certain circumstances, you may want to take this class remotely. So classroom attendance is a little different. Essentially, if you're choosing to access it remotely, I can see when you log into Blackboard, when you log into the class. I can see when you're completing assignments, and that will be essentially your attendance. And then if I see that you are not completing assignments on time, if you're not logging in, you may be getting an email from me. Class conduct, again, this is the same for every class. Just be respectful, be responsible. If you are in class and we are engaging in discussions, understand that even if you don't agree with someone's opinion, that does not make it wrong. And it's open for debate, sort of, the way that the class is set up. Again, if you are in class, please don't be on your phones. And then if you're being disruptive, you'll be asked to leave. This also to be said, if you are coming to class in person, you are going to be required to wear a mask, and then you will have to be at least spaced 6 feet apart from other students. We have a giant lecture hall room in Hazel 1020, And there's currently, I think, only 6 students enrolled in the class, so there's plenty of space. But that being said, you will still need to wear a mask even if you are distanced. And then just some tips. So as I've mentioned, the best way to reach me is through email. I try to check it as often as I can. But when you email me, please make sure that you include who you are, include what class you're in. Also, if you're asking something like when the exam is, check the syllabus first. A lot of times, a lot of the questions that you have are on the syllabus or on the class schedule. So, what I'm going to do very quickly, as I mentioned I was going to do on the class website. So the begin here is where you'll find stuff like the course syllabus and the schedule, how to reach me. The other very important tab on Blackboard is then the course content, because this is where you will find essentially all of the information. So you'll see that it is separated by the chapters. So each week we'll be going by a chapter, and then there's the exam. So it goes in order of how the class is set up. And then in each folder, there'll be kind of just the learning objectives, kind of an overview of what we're going to be learning about for that week. Then you will find learning materials and learning activities. In learning materials, this is where you'll find the PowerPoint slides. So you already have copies of all of the slides. But keep in mind that there will be additional things that I will be discussing in class. So all of the information that you need for this class will not be on the slides. But if you listen to my lectures, then you will get all the information you need. But a lot of the information and the slides that I use, that I teach with, are available here. Another thing, as I mentioned, the other folder that's in here is the learning activities. This is where you will find the quizzes, and if there is one for that week, the assignments. So this is the example of the very first assignment that you have for this first and second week, where you have the link to the video right here. You're going to watch the video, and then, I believe, there it is. You have 3 questions that you have to answer that relate to the video and also relate to what we talked about in class during that week. So that's it. Oh, that's why you guys don't see it. It's not available yet. But what will also become available on that Thursday then is the chapter quiz. So right now you won't see it because it's not available yet. As you'll see, it'll become available midnight of the 20th, so right after we've gone over the material for that week, then the quiz becomes available. So that's where you will find that material. The only other thing that I think is important to show you is the calendar. So if you go to calendar, if you're confused and you're not sure what chapter we're on, what quiz you're supposed to be doing when, if you go to the calendar for this class, you'll see all of the different assignments. So again, this week and next week, we're going over Chapter 1, so you'll see that by that Sunday, though remember, it does become available on Thursday, but by Sunday, you have the assignment, and you have the Chapter 1 quiz due by midnight of that day. Then we go over Chapter 3, then you have an assignment in Chapter 3, etc., etc. So the calendar is a good resource for showing you what assignments you have when they're due by, so you don't miss them, because they do, I believe, disappear. And then you'll see when the exams are as well, though of course that's on the schedule. Alright, and I already mentioned, but you can also use the email tab to email me if you have any questions, or you can just send it to the abohaskett@ummes.edu, whichever way works best for you. And then there's the My Grades tab, where you will get to see what grades you've gotten so far. It should be set up in order, so if you see that you are missing a grade for something as it's going down, it might mean that you've missed that quiz. But that's about it. So hopefully I didn't talk too long. I know it's about 20 minutes long, but I was trying to talk quickly. That's kind of all you need to know for this class. Again, it's very discussion based. It's very interesting, though I know I'm biased as a psychology instructor, talking about adolescence and just how it's so unique. It's a really unique age range to be in. And it's not just, a lot of people think it's just chemicals in the brain that affect, and while that is a part, there's so much more that's going on. going by age, going by your race, going by your gender, going by the culture that you're in. And we talk a lot about that in this class. So hopefully this answered all the questions that you had for, what this class is, what the expectations are. If you do have more questions, again, please send me an email. And I look forward to either seeing you guys in person or hearing from you via remotely.